Welcome to the semifinals of Songwriter Showdown from Showpeople. We're down to just 3 teams this week. 3 teams wrote 3 songs. We had singers record the songs for them, and this is going to be the first time that the songwriters hear their work as well. We have some of the vocalists here with us today, and they might, share what their thoughts and experiences were in recording the songs. And then, of course, it is another elimination round before we set up the final episode of just 2 teams. Introducing this week's guest judge, Mr. Roman. Hi, Roman.
Hello, everybody.
Roman, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi. So I am also a writer, director, whatever else part of the arts you want to call me, from New York. I'm currently in my little home in Astoria, and it is beautiful today. I'm on prednisone. Let's get some songs going, people.
Woo! And of course, Roman is joined by our regular judges, as always, Amanda and Brighton. All right, Brighton, will you please spin the wheel of choices to decide who goes first for songs?
Let's spin. Oh.
And we're starting with the one. The one was written by Team COLBENJIBY. So, Colby, can you tell me a little bit about the story of the song while I get it pulled up?
Yeah, so our prompt, if I remember correctly, was a ride or die friendship, and it's their first meeting. And I have my partner, Benji, to thank for this, because they came up with the idea of it being sort of 2 spies, and they were specifically saying like sort of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So it's 2 spies being sent to like the same job, and they like notice each other's skills, and they're like, wow, like this person, like they're my vibe. I could really fit with them. And there's also sort of like a romantic thing going through there as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the song.
Nice, cool. This song was recorded by Alex, Mika, and myself.
When I look into his eyes, I see darkness. I see death. When I grip his hands are soft, but they can kiss. I can't see his weapon. His gun is in his pen. Where could it be hiding? No, wait, that's something else. Can I trust this man? Of my favorite knife. Each punch and kick is so quick and precise. Just look at him as he goes. I've never seen such power before. The way he handles himself in a crowd. He might just be the toughest guy around. I'm pretty good on my own. How good I'd be with us together. Oh, I like his style, I like his moves, I like the way he holds a gun. As this lone wolf just met his match, could I have found the one? Wow, he's really keeping up with me. His bad side's clearly not the place to be. I wonder what he would do if I just went, and damn, he's fast too. It's like he anticipates every move. With a single hit, he just knocked out 2 dudes. Would he give notes on my punch if I invited him out to lunch? Oh, I like his style, I like his moves, I like to look at that man run. As Ethan Hunt just met James Bond, could I have found the one? I think that this is settled. You've more than shown your mettle. It's clear it's time, let's team up. We'll need a couple follow-ups. I like like his style, I like his moves, I like the way he holds a gun. Has this lone wolf just met James Bond? Could I have found the one? The man right here next to me is a guy who I'll let hold my gun. And all my solo jobs are done. Cause I have found I think I have found yes, I have found the one.
Nice. Talk to me a little bit about your process of this one, Colby.
So like I said, it was Benji came up with sort of the concept. And then from there, we were kind of stuck for like a day. And then I was like in the shower and I was like, how am I going to write this song? And I just like came up with that. It's like sort of the musical piano intro. And then there's also, it sort of becomes the chorus. And I just like came up with that. And I was like, immediately ran to my piano. And I said to Benji, I'm like, is this something? And they're like, yeah, that's something. And then we went from there. I wrote like a verse, and then Benji's like, I don't know if I like that. Try these lyrics. And we went back and forth like we did last week. It was sort of like tennis. And then we're like, all right, I think that's a song.
I had a great time singing it. It was a lot of fun. I especially loved the character names, of course, Ryder and Dyson, the two ride or die best friends. And yeah, just the little like undertones of attraction, and was a lot of fun to dig into that character. The syncopation was a lot of fun to sing, and the harmonies were very satisfying when they locked in at the end. Yeah, I had a great time doing it. All right, judges. Amanda, can you give us your thoughts, please?
Hi, everybody. I'm joining you from a coffee shop outside of Washington Square Park, which is not ideal listening conditions. I'm annoying everyone who walks by this coffee shop, but I think it's okay. That was great. Miles did give me, like, he tipped me off. I asked how this process was going this week, and he said everybody showed enormous progress between last week and today. So I've been excited to hear this. And first of all, I think that was a fun number. I think the style of it works for this theme of spies. I don't think it's like necessarily reaching for the stars. Like, it's not like a crazy new concept to do it vaguely swingy, but it fits into like a body of work about spies and mystery that works really well. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it's a really solid piano vocal product, and the style comes across really clearly. I have very few complaints. I think it was much speechier in the rhythms this week, and there was clearly you guys had thought about how these words sit, and for the most part the rhythms matched what is a natural speech delivery. But there were still a couple parts where, like, for instance, I can't remember the lyrics off the top of my head right now, but it would still be like quarter note, where it maybe could have been eighth note, quarter. And once again, even if you've worked out a certain tune with a certain rhythm in mind, once you've established it, don't be afraid to break from it if it suits a more natural delivery of some of these words. It wasn't anything major, but it's just something I think that could continue to be refined. I was a little confused thematically. Like, if to me a ride or die best friend is a different relationship than an immediate attraction and a crush. So like, attraction to me usually complicates a friendship. I'm open to it. I definitely want to see how it would develop in a full show. I'm like, oh, these two are drawn to each other. For at least one of them, it seems to be somewhat romantically or sexually. But I guess I want to see what there is that instant connection. It's just something I'll have to keep in mind as I'm trying to determine the best song this week is, did someone else more effectively nail their prompt without confusion? The confusion's compelling, but it's a little, compared to some of the other prompts we had that I think were more lovers. This one was explicitly best friends, right? So like ride or die best friends. So that might cost you. I don't know. And then the only other thing I'm a little bit picky about is when key words were delivered on top of each other. Sometimes I wished that one character would just hold out their note longer while one gave the word that differed, and then the other character after that could say what their word was. So I think the notes layered very well harmonically for the most part, but think about what you're asking for a first-time listener to hear rhythmically. And don't be afraid in a duet to let one person hang on a shared word longer than the other if it'll let us have a chance to hear both. But I also think it's a matter of personal preference. So maybe that feedback is only helpful to a certain extent. But overall, I love the effort. I thought it was great.
Thank you. All right, Brighton, let me hear your thoughts.
First note I wrote was okay harmony. There were many harmonies, but they were all very like, they like just stuck together really well, and I appreciated that. I wrote LMAO. I think that was about the gun in the pants. I was like, okay. I really appreciate like the clear style choice. Like, I get that it could kind of lean into like, oh, well, this has been done before. I'm very much in like the mindset of like no idea is ever original ever. I thought that it was like a great choice. I wrote that I love the dichotomy of like the content tones because it like switches very rapidly between like the romance-y kind of stuff and then like more like job spy oriented stuff. I guess I agree in a way that like maybe the relationship felt a bit more romantic, but I could also see like if this were a fully fleshed out show, like maybe like this is just how they bump into each other, it's immediate attraction, then they realize, oh, maybe not. I don't know. Then they're just friends from there. But yeah, that's what I got.
All right, guest judge Roman, let's hear your thoughts on The One.
All right, first off, this is a very sexy song. I will say that from the beginning. I didn't know where it was going with like that twisted and dark tone, but gun in the pants. Yeah, there's something there. I love the lyrics, very juicy. I agree with Amanda that there were some times when I didn't have clarity with some of the words. Maybe it was just like the phrasing, something about there, but whatever you feel. I love the groove. That was very fun. I also heard a little bit of orchestrations in my head for the future. The only thing I wouldn't say I'm complaining about, but the only thing I would love to infuse is the moment after, not the moment before, because it kind of, to me, it came to a halt, a very abrupt stop, which if this is for a show and that's for a reason, totally. But I, especially in this style of being that jazzy upbeat groove, I wanted an extra punch so bad. So whatever that, if you want to use that, if you don't, by all means. Last thing, I love that this was birthed from a shower thought, or some of it was at least. That tickled my fancy. Great job though.
Great. And Colby, do you have any thoughts and reactions to having heard it performed for the first time?
I mean, it was fun. It was fun to hear it like actually performed because we never got like a chance, Benji and I, to like actually have one of us sing one part and the other one sing the other part. We never got around to that. So it was cool to see like actually two voices singing it as opposed to just like me singing two parts and editing them together. Yeah, that was fun.
Great. All right, Brighton, let's spin for our next song.
And then let's go. The pink.
Banks Day. This is from team To Be Determined, Travis and Michael. So Travis, talk to us about the story of Banks Day.
Yes, so our prompt was grandparent and grandchild, and then something about stealing money. And so after some discussion directly after the call last week, Michael and I landed on the Banks family, and they rob banks, as is their name. And this follows grandmother Steala Banks and granddaughter Robin Banks. And today is Robin's 18th birthday, and she is on her very first bank heist mission.
Banks Day was recorded by Lucy Rhoades and Mary Grace Epps, who is in the call with us today.
Back in the day, our family used to say, if you don't get caught, you deserve every cent you steal. It's your 18th birthday, my dear granddaughter. You start to earn your pay in the Banks family business, my dear. I'll show you the way. Well, Grandpa already told me.
Of course he did. All right, walk me through it, Robin. The Banks family hasn't got caught in 200 years, and we aren't starting today.
Break, assess, negotiate, tie a knot, then separate. B is where it all begins. You gotta find a way to break inside.
He taught you well.
Mom says, if you wanna win, let your instincts be your guide.
Claire was always the smartest.
Everyone tries to slam the brakes and sneak in the back at night.
Remember,
But only a Banks knows it takes some daylight to do it right. Break, assess, negotiate, tie a knot, then separate. A is one you can never miss. Assess your surroundings. Look out for cameras.
Don't dismiss
Alarms that could be sounding. So take a second, double check. Make sure the coast is clear. Then stroll up to the counter without a single cent of fear. Break, assess, negotiate, tie a knot, then separate. N is when you negotiate. Pass the note, sit and wait. The teller comes back and gives you all you need.
Stella, Robin!
There's more to the deed. Take the cash, tie a knot, calculate, make a dash, don't get caught, separate, and that's how a Banks robs banks. I've been waiting for this day to see my son take center stage for the first time.
as slick as you.
I'll show Dad what I can do. Now it's my time to join the ranks and show the world that I'm your Banks. Is that the police?
Nice. Cool. All right, Travis, talk to me about the process of this one. If I am correct, I believe you and Michael met in person this
We
week.
did at a McDonald's, yes. It turns out he lives like 3 towns over from me, so we met after he got out of school. We sort of decided on the first section being music and lyrics by Michael, the section being music and lyrics by me, and then the third section we would collaborate on. When we got to the third section, that was when we met at the McDonald's, and we sort of had our laptops out and we were talking about the lyrics. And just sort of with the time that either of us had available, we collaborated on the lyrics for like that slower ending part together, and then I had the time to do the music for the rest of it.
Awesome. Cool. Mary Grace, what was it like being Robin Banks?
It was an honor. And I think I can speak for Lucy as well, but saying that she had a great time as well. Hopefully the writers appreciate our sort of New York accents. I decided that Robin didn't have as strong of one, she's just a young girl, but she mocked her mom and it hurt. She had a New York accent and so did the grandmas. I loved their names. I love the acronym of the word Banks and that being their last name. There's just so much that was so clever about it. But it was also a really tricky song, I have to say. It was definitely a challenge for me learning it, which I think maybe I need a good challenge these days to keep me on my toes. So it was really fun. And I'm even proud of how it sounds hearing it now. So I hope you guys
I love
are.
how it sounds. Yes, thank you for all your kind words.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Brighton, let me hear your thoughts.
My first note was, God, I love Lucy. We love Lucy in this household. You also got an LMAO, but it was at the dialogue in betweens. And I was like, same. The piano thing, kind of sick. Ate that up. The interpretation of the prompt was interesting because I wasn't like, I think we were all interpreting stealing money as like one of them is stealing money from the other.
That's what I thought too, but then Michael was like, I think this way, and I was like, okay, let's go with that. Because it seems interesting.
I think it's a more interesting take on the prompt, a scenario that like you can actually write fun harmonies in and like choose a style in, and rather than just like an argument song, which I feel like might have been the obvious one. I think the title confuses me because I'm not sure where the day comes in.
The title was a very last minute, low thought addition.
Shrug. That's what I got.
Roman, let me hear your thoughts, please.
I love that too. The intro was very inviting. I like that. It didn't spring me into anything. Love the harmonies. Very 1920s ragtime. I love that. I said it gave Hot Honey Rag in a Bronx Tale kind of vibe, which leads me to say there's so much room in this piece for there to be like instrumental breaks with like tap breaks, etc., etc. The 3/4 breakdown floored me. Love that. And only thing I agree with Brighton, the title.
Amanda.
Hi. Okay. Another great song. I really loved it. And I definitely want to applaud the choices made by the performers on this one. I should have done that with the last one as well. Hey, Miles, good job on that last one. But especially here, it's interesting to know that the accents were an addition by the performers. I thought it worked really, really well. And I think it speaks to the piece that it lent itself so easily to something like that. But interesting that it wasn't like spelled out, right? Because as songwriters and lyricists, you could have spelled that out. I really like this take on the prompt. I would want to see this show. Like, I love that premise. And I think it's a great way to address both parts of the prompt. I think it's interesting, the idea of making the 18th birthday the first time one of these relatives assists on a bank heist, because that's when you would be tried as an adult. So I would think that they were training their youth from the beginning and using them as children to pull off things that adults would get hammered for more easily, especially like an innocent looking child like Robin probably was when she was younger. I think if I were writing a show around this, I think the 18th birthday is a cool thing to note, but like, they're criminals. So do they care about that age of legality the same way? Or is it like, okay, hey, now you plan the heist? I don't know. I loved your premise, but I had questions. It was like a very lawful good interpretation of a premise that I think is like chaotic evil, or at least chaotic neutral. Revisit that 18th birthday thing when you write this show, and please write this show. Musically, the first section, I didn't have a lot of stylistic clarity. And I think that's happening in these slower out of time things that people are writing across multiple weeks of this competition. It should have the stylistic clarity that the more up-tempo sections of songs have. All of you can write a cool swing, all of you can write a cool waltz, and we're hearing that each week of this competition. But I think there should still be a stylistic intention behind, and I didn't have that in the part where Grandma was leading the momentum of the song. Also, as a note, this is a big song. My thoughts as we were listening was, this is 3 songs. There are at least 3 songs here, which can work and definitely works well in musical theater. If this was closing Act 1, I think it could work really, really well. For me to understand everything, I would have had to hear each of those, at least the first 2, before. If this is all we get of those songs in this fictional musical, I don't think it works as well as if we've heard some of these melodies before, and this is the big Act 1 finale that combines some pre-existing stuff and introduces something new. You gave us a lot of music and it's great. It's just a big ask of the audience to follow that many changes in that amount of time if they haven't heard the stuff before. Lyrically, I just want to shout out that ending was exactly what I meant about kind of staggering the words so that the audience can hear both parts and still get the interplay of how they work together. So Robin says, I'm A, and then Grandma says, you're A, and it's easy to hear it against each other. Stuff like that works really, really well. So I just want to shout out that little ending as a great moment for exactly the kind of principle I was talking about on the previous tune. But yeah, loved it. It was great.
Nice. I also want to shout out both of these songs so far. The editor has been Josh Rhoades. Really helped me with a fast turnaround. Thank you to him. Travis, any other thoughts of hearing it performed?
No, I love the accents, and it was great hearing voices do the harmonies and not harmonicas doing the harmonies. And it was great to hear the characters and the text really come alive with the music. So it was a wonderful job from everyone.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that this may have been the most fun that was had recording any of the songs, mostly from Lucy cackling at her own accent. But yeah, great job. All right, we're left with with My Sweet Elixir. So Stephanie, tell me a little bit about these wizards, please.
Oh, golly gosh. Well, let me just say, we were on the struggle bus to start because neither of us know anything about wizards. And there is a certain property that we did not want to reference at all for good reason, for several reasons. But we were just like, okay, these are old men and they're fighting over something. What are they fighting over? And we just kind of wrote in the musical theater way of that they're romantic rivals and they're trying to make a potion for the same girl. And it goes in a direction that I will leave to the listener. But we didn't write it in a swing style, I will say. We went in a different direction with it. I was surprised there were 2 swing songs here today.
Yeah, there was a lot of jazz this week, but it was nice to have the compound meter in this song. All right, and so this was performed by Kristen Weiss and Felicia Martis.
All across the land, none dare whisper my name. The great Gerbentaum is feared, I'm sure you'll feel the same.
Not so fast, my friend, no one's feared more than I. You'll soon meet your end, for I'm the sour Serpentai.
Ah, that was cute, a little Merlin imposter. I'll defeat you, yet add your name to my roster.
The girl will be mine.
Oh, can it, you swine?
To win her devotion, we'll compete with a potion.
Oh, I swoon at the thought of her, Edith the witch. If I cannot have her, I'll resign to a ditch. You are not worthy, your head is too thick, sir. I will win her hand with my sweet elixir. A potion like this takes wit and great skill. Just 2 frog eyes, not 3, you daft imbecile.
A frog leg or 2 will mend this mistake. My potion is floral, yours smells like fish cake.
Ha! Your smells of cheap liquor, I'm sure it'd make her sicker.
Don't let ingredients go to waste.
Why don't I have a taste? Oh, I swoon at the thought of her, Edith the witch. You'll cry to your mother, oh Lord, that'll be rich. Oh, I should warn you, my potion's got quite a kick, sir. I will win her hand with my...
Wow, that was strong and actually sweet. Is that blossom?
Tangerine.
Neat.
As I expected, your potion's quite chunky and it didn't even work.
Oh?
You don't look that hunky. Oh. Oh, I swoon at the thought of you, Edith the witch.
This is what I meant.
Her beard, her robe,
Her debonair.
oh, my potion will make the switch. Success will be mine, yes, for I am a master trickster. I will win her hand with my
Without you, I would die.
side-eye. I'll win her hand with my sweet elixir.
Nice. Cool. All right. Talk to me about your process here, Stephanie.
Well, like I said, we were absolute experts at wizardry and knew all of the things. But basically, we started out being like, okay, what is the image of these wizards? And Lizzie was very much like, they are old curmudgeon wizards. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went with old curmudgeon, pompous sounding academia kind of flair that we had going. Lizzie had this very like flowery language to it that I really wanted to like emphasize, so I made it even more pompous and more annoying. And then I had the idea of the switch where they're dumb enough to drink each other's potions. So yeah, it was just a simple, fun process.
Nice. Did I direct them to say the names correctly?
You did. I never got confirmation from Lizzie about that, but yeah, you were correct.
Amazing. Cool. Great. They both really enjoyed singing the song. They both picked it up really quickly too. Got into the, the back and forth feel of the 6/8, and the harmonies in it were fun. And they both were like, yeah, they killed it. They were both really happy with singing the song. Roman, I'm gonna start with you.
Sure. That was lovely. I like that it's, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I like that it's a limerick. Is it a limerick?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, good. Because I was like, this is a big drinking song, which played into the title and everything very well. I love that. Very fits the theme. It's very fun. One thing is for me, I would love to hear a little more. I don't know. It also has a lot of potential to be like a canon, or there's a lot more room for being more harmony, or a lot of other ways for this thing to go. But I leave that up to you. I leave that up to you. That was very fun, though.
Oh, thank you.
Brighton.
Let's see. The first note that I had was like that it's very like Gilbert and Sullivan, which I thought was like so old school and fun to listen to. A wondering that I have is if the all the unison singing, if it is justified, because if they are rivals, maybe they wouldn't ever be singing in unison, which is obviously like your choice. I'm not being like, do the thing, do it, but like, I don't know. That was just a thought that I had was like, could there be any more dissonance? Could it be a little bit more crunch? Like,
another thing is that because of our lovely singers, I did have to change the key. So that may be part of the reason for the unison is that I didn't want it to get lost in frequencies. So yes.
that's fair. I thought that the Master Trickster, like I wrote down that lyric for some reason. I think it was because the harmony felt like more earned to me in the text of the song. I was like, okay, yes, I see where this could end up here. That makes more sense. And there was like a really good like push and pull feel that I enjoyed, like Miles was saying. And then I wrote prompt satisfied, ... But my only like, it's not even like a problem that I'm having. It's just like, I remember when I added wizards as a prompt, I was like, I want there to be weird instruments and like bizarre sounds happening. But like, that could also just be me. So I'm not gonna like be super weird about that.
Harpsichord moment, if that's what you were thinking, like harpsichord, like.
I don't even know.
Well, Amanda, please.
So can you talk to me about when in the process did this become a song for two treble voices? Like, was this a late in the week decision, or was this was we got the performers we could get? Like, Miles, did you notify them that they would be writing for treble voices instead?
Yes. So Stephanie provided me, I asked for ranges, and it was going to be two tenors. I was, of course, excited about. I really wanted to sing this song, but you all wrote for men, and I had 4 women and 2 men.
I sympathize with that as a singer, and knowing that there are so many wonderful, amazing treble voice singers in the world that I would love to. It's just old curmudgeon men that we were writing for. That's it.
Yeah. And so they were willing to, bump the key up a fourth to make it work in more of an alto range for these two.
Gotcha. All right. I think thematically, I understand why it would be 2 people of the same voice type. Potentially, if they are rivals, maybe they're similar in a number of ways. But musically, I don't think it's as strong to have a 2 tenor or 2 alto rivalry duet. I wish there was more differentiation in the parts. I enjoyed the harmonies, but it's just something I'm starting to notice. Why are we not writing for different voice types in this competition? Like, I don't know. I'm a little biased. I think I would have wanted either a soprano alto or a tenor baritone. And it just feels like a lot of these songs this week, people are in similar ranges, right? That happened in all 3 of these duets, I think. So I guess I would encourage people to not overlook the lower end of the vocal spectrum, both like with treble voices and bass voices. Because I'm missing that musically. I'm getting a little, it makes it a little one note, even when it's in harmony. That is such a bad joke, and I didn't mean to make it, but yeah, it makes it a little one note. And these are duets. I was hoping to hear some variety that I'm just not hearing across the board this week. And I feel like don't be afraid to mix it up with these voice types, especially, with a grandma and a child. It being 2, are they both mezzos? I don't know Lucy's vocal range, but there just wasn't enough differentiation in any of these duets for me. I felt the same way about the 2 spies. So, these are ways to set characters apart from one another that I think are important in musical theater. And especially from a casting standpoint, you know, like it's a tough ask to get two equally matched tenors for lead roles. Right, one of them to be a baritone, for God's sakes, you know. And that's, I say that with, you know, I also think these are just overlooked voice types in general. So like, yeah, that's an interesting note that applies to all three. I share Brighton's, and for me, it's not about the harmony; it's about the rhythmic unison with how often these wizards are singing together. If I'm in a rivalry with someone, if it's argumentative at the outset of the song, I also think that them falling in love at the end becomes more effective if they are arguing at the beginning. I think they should be undermining each other, interrupting each other, not singing together, possibly until the moment that they have tried each other's potions and they begin to fall in love with each other. Also, maybe I missed it, but I was watching these lyrics and I did not actually lyrically hear a challenge to try each other's potions. Like no one, I heard them criticize each other's, and it became clear that they had tried each other's. But I'm just wondering why lyrically it wasn't like, no, like if you try this potion, it's gonna work. It's gonna be better than yours. It's such a big thing for them to decide to try each other's love potions. And am I getting that wrong? They did try each other's, right?
Yes, the lyric is, why don't I have a taste?
I think it needs to be driven home more than that. It's just it goes by too quickly, especially in this like compound. This is actually a spot where I would have loved a repetition. Repeat a line. If you want the audience to know something big is happening, it should musically be a big thing. It should stand out somehow. And this one was just so melodious that everything just kind of flowed. You don't want that to be a point someone could miss. And I imagine that if it were like realized for a show, you know, you could hold over like a floor tom roll and one held note while they're trying each other's potions, hold for that effect, and then move into this like together section. But I would make them so punny and weird, but I would make a meal out of that moment. And like, don't let me miss it as an audience member that they are about to do the very weird thing of try each other's love potions, somehow forgetting what effect these potions are meant to have. I think lyrically, it might have been more effective if it had been like, you're so bad at making potions, I could drink your potion and it's not going to make me fall in love with anything. If you drive that home, then I understand the moment that's taken place. And then just, by the way, if you end up in this type of situation again, if any contestant does, this is something we should keep in mind moving forward for future competitions. They should be totally allowed to gender bend as they see fit and queer it up. Like if the prompt says wizards and that implies man, definitely feel free to get more adventurous gender wise. I don't know how the other founders of the competition feel. But yeah, I don't want you guys to limit yourselves just because of adherence to the prompt to that level of specificity. But I definitely want to see all three of these shows. So please write them all.
Stephanie, what was it like hearing it performed for your first listen?
I always like hearing my stuff performed. It doesn't make me anxious at all. But I would say the vocalists were very lovely, and I'm very grateful to have this opportunity.
Nice. Cool. All right. Judges, score each of the songs out of 5, please, and privately message your scores to me. I also just want to give a shout out to how wonderful the character names were this week. Like across the board, what a treat.
I need to ask how Lizzie came up with these names. She literally was like so in it with Serpentai.
I think that's also just Lizzie, you know?
Yeah, valid.
Yeah, I also really appreciated the creative names and how much humor was injected into this week across the board. Everyone did such a great job. And I will say shout out to Team STIZZY for not writing the swing tune. But like, crime is swung. Espionage is swung. If someone can convincingly break that stylistically, I will note it for sure. But yeah, it's interesting. And then even this kind of drinking song vibe, you know, it's still very triplety, which is like most people's swing is a little bit more triplet derived. So yes, it was not a jazz tune, but it still kind of has that little lilt or swing. So we'll see what happens next week.
I mean, Amanda, you said last week that you wanted to be able to dance to these songs, and I feel like all of us answered that cry with the swing.
Very true. I have our totals. So I'm gonna start with the team that came in first this week, the team that is definitely going on to next week's round. And what a comeback it was, Banks Day. From Team To Be Determined. Came in first this week. Well done. And the second team making it to the finale is Team COLBENJIBY with The One. It was so very close in the end, though, between all three teams. This was a very strong week, and we're so thankful to everyone for having participated in everything that you wrote.
Wow, I'm kind of devastated. I always forget that elimination is part of this, because I want to hear more from every single person who has participated, every single team that has participated. And so, like, once again, thank you so much for doing this. This is going so well, and it's been so fun to be a part of. And I am going to be a Team STIZZY fan forever. So I really hope STIZZY stands. Oh my God. I really hope that you two work more independently, but also together. You're producing really cool music, and I love hearing it. So,
oh my gosh. Well, it's been a run. And that being 3 episodes, pretty sure. Sadly, Team STIZZY has not written any shows yet. But in terms of myself, I am currently working with New York Theater Barn on a writing residency for a show I am writing called Spectrum. And you can see it on Fire Island, June 22nd at 3 o'clock. So if y'all are free and want to go to the Fire Island Pines, feel free to come by. It's also, my Instagram is at @SLeotaCarlin. And yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thank you. Well, we are now in our final week, right? All right, so just reiterating from last week, this week is open. You write whatever you want to write, but it's a very, very speedy turnaround this week because we were making fully produced demos of whatever these 2 songs are, right? Tuesday, your song draft is due. And I'm gonna say Tuesday at
6 p.m.
Noon. Noon is what we've been doing.
Okay.
What did you ask for?
I said 6 p.m.
6 p.m. I can do 6 p.m. I can do 6 p.m.
The 6 hours will help.
Yes, Tuesday at 6 p.m. is when a rough draft of it is asked of you, because then that night I'm going to look at it. I'm going to develop my own ideas for how I would want to go about orchestrating it and stuff like that. And then I'm going to come back to you on Wednesday, and we're going to have consultation meetings of how we want the song to be fully fleshed out. Okay? All that I need you to supply for me is a piano vocal, but if you have ideas, we're going to talk about them during our consultation meeting. And in the end, the orchestrations will be up to 4 pieces, however you want those to be. And with that, I'm considering tracks. They're all going to be MIDI tracks, But if you write a string section, I can play that in one thing, that's not, oh, there's your 4, So 4 instrument tracks and up to 4 voices this week. So if you're taking a song that you've already written and you want to further develop it, you can add in background harmonies, you can add in more characters, whatever you want, but you have up to 4 voices to play with this week. Throughout the later half of the week, I'll be recording it with voices and the orchestrations as well. Whatever part you want to have in the back half, though, I welcome that, as well as if you still have changes that you want to make over the course of that week, we can do that too. If you do a song that you've already written, which I would totally understand because of the turnaround time, Amanda would just like to note that, it's something that we will factor in of like, did you write a whole new thing or did you take something? And if you took something that was already written, we would want to see further development, some integration of notes that were given. All right, this is the finale week. Have fun, y'all.
Colby.
Yeah.
I have no clue who you are, but best of luck to you and your team.
Yeah, best of luck losing next week.
Wow, good thing you got this on recording. Wow, I was trying to be so polite and kind.
No.
I gotta
They
drink
said
out
we
of my
wanted
bottle.
some trash talking. We haven't done that yet.
A little drama.
Last week,
yeah.
last week.
You know what, Colby? Frick you. Frick your team. You're going down in the underground. Alright? You can't even run.
All right. We need to separate you two.
With love, Colby. With love.
This is just trying to create content.
For real, yeah.
All right. Have a good week, y'all. I'll see you soon.
Goodbye, everyone. See you later.
Goodness.
Frick your team.
Wow.
Let's stop recording.
That's crazy.